It's come a long way for the show to make me care about the June Tyrell Samantha story, because during the summer it was definitely one of the stories I was pretty bored with, but they had the best message for a Thanksgiving episode. Good afternoon or evening, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers, here to talk about today's Tuesday episode, which is unfortunately our last episode of the week, as this is a short holiday week for the show. It won't be on again till next Monday, but today we did have our Thanksgiving themed episode for the show, and honestly I felt it was cute enough. It was cute enough for me. It was good to spend the first Thanksgiving with this show. I like when the soap operas do the holidays. They give us holiday themed episodes, and because it's on every day. It's like they become a part of our lives. We might as well watch them see the same holidays we're celebrating. I've always loved that about soap operas, and I thought they did a mostly good job today. My highlight today was actually June getting to join Samantha, Smitty, Martin, Tyrell for Thanksgiving. Samantha had everything set up very nicely at the beginning of the episode because she's excited that June is coming over. Smitty and Martin were out having a time together and came home to have a better time, but Samantha was there. Tyrell was the character in a hurry to get dinner over with because he wants to go see Jessica and spend time with her. They are definitely writing Tyrell to start being pretty down bad for Jessica, which has moved pretty fast since they got back together feels like only a month ago, really, that they got back together. And now, even in this episode, when they all gathered around to say what they were thankful for, he was thankful for Jessica and that he's falling in love with Jessica, maybe even. But that was another highlight. I do like when the shows do their Thanksgiving episodes and they all gotta say what they are thankful for. June got emotional during this part of the episode, and I don't know, it's come a long way for the show to make me care about the June Tyrell Samantha story, because during the summer it was definitely one of the stories I was pretty bored with, but it's come a long way for me, and they were actually the highlight today. I think they had the best message for a Thanksgiving episode. Because at the end, when Vernon was doing his speech and we got to see some of the other characters, I was like, I don't know if this is sending the right message you think it's sending. Another highlight for me was Dani and Andre, and Dani wanting to cook and Andre not being sure if she can even cook. You know, she's saying she did raise a whole family, but then they start getting distracted, or she starts getting distracted when she and Andre start making out in the kitchen, and she starts overcooking things and eventually burns the turkey. This is an old soap opera trope. I feel like a lot of leading characters on soap operas are bad cooks. A lot of the women are bad cooks. Soap operas like to do that for some reason. Marlena Evans on Days of Our Lives is probably one of the big ones that comes to mind. But I guess it's to show us that even if you're not a good cook, you could still marry a good man. Marlene has been married many times. Dani has found Andre. Couldn't be me personally, but apparently you can still find a good man even though you're burning turkeys. But Dani felt bad because she was trying to give Andre a special day, since he doesn't talk about it often, but he's always spending holidays without his parents. He lost his parents, and I don't know. I just found their scenes cute again. And then they tried to cut the burnt turkey, or Andre tried to cut the burnt turkey to see if it was at least good on the inside, and he broke the knife trying to cut it, and they burst out laughing, which also made me laugh. So they were also cute today. The show's been doing a great job on the Dani and Andre relationship, making them feel like a real couple who is starting a real marriage, even though it was under very odd circumstances and it was under them being drunk in Vegas, which made them marry in the first place. But yeah, they were another highlight today. before I continue on with this review, I do want to promote the Patreon, patreon.com/OCGTV. If you're missing Beyond the Gates over the next few days, you could come watch classic soap opera episodes with me on Patreon. Currently watching Laura's Return to General Hospital in 1983, the Salem Slasher serial killer, the second half of that story, on Days of Our Lives in 1983. This is also around Thanksgiving too, so, jump over to Patreon if you want. Let's move on, though, in this episode. Those were really the only two main highlights to me. Bill and Hayley going out for Thanksgiving at the country club, Bill knowing that's where the Duprees were going to be. We are still getting a lot of Bill feeling like he's missing out on being a part of the Dupree family again. We've seen him starting to pine after Dani again. It almost seems like Bill is getting to a point of wanting something that he no longer has. And Hayley, of course, becoming more and more upset as the episode goes on. She was upset at first that the Duprees were at the country club with them. But then Hayley saw Izaiah arrive. Izaiah joined the Duprees today, and that made Hayley want to stay because she has this crush on him, it seems. In yesterday's episode, Jacob invited Izaiah over, so Naomi and Jacob were glad that Izaiah joined them today. But as the Duprees kept having a good time, Bill kept looking over at the table, which upset Hayley more and more. She called him out on hating like he's feeling like an outsider now, which was the truth. What annoyed me today, though, is Naomi's getting all these texts from Chelsea. And apparently Chelsea's having Thanksgiving with Madison and Madison's woo-woo mother. And I'm annoyed that this is happening off screen. Why did we even have those couple episodes where Chelsea was trying to get Madison and her mom to have a better relationship again if we're not going to see it play out on screen? I would have much rather have had those scenes where the mom is making them have a vegan Thanksgiving over Ashley, her mom, and Mona, which I'm not even going to talk about today because it was just a waste of a few minutes on the episode, quite frankly. But had we seen Chelsea, Madison, and Madison's mom, I think it would have been some good comedy for today's episode. I would have loved to see them having a vegan Thanksgiving. So that was both stupid that it happened off screen, but doesn't bode well for the Chelsea-Madison relationship if their stories are starting to happen off screen. Maybe, for lack of better words, they are pussying out on the lesbian relationship on the show and not wanting it to give it airtime. I don't know. It annoyed me today, though. That was definitely the thing about today's episode that annoyed me. But anyway, outside of the dining hall at the country club, Hayley runs into Izaiah, says it looks like he made it back in to the right side of the tracks, basically, now that he's having lunch with the Duprees. He's fixed his bad boy image, she guesses. And so we're setting up here again Hayley's crush on Izaiah, perhaps a Hayley, Izaiah, Eva love triangle. I am wondering how we're going to transition out of Hayley trying to poison Bill to death to the Hayley and Izaiah stuff, but it's a question that I'm looking forward to see how the show writes that. But Bill wants to hear Vernon's gratitude speech before he and Hayley leaves, and we'll talk a little bit about Vanessa and Joey, but while Vernon is giving his speech, we start to pan to the different characters on this episode, like a montage. But when it got to Ashley and Vanessa and it talked about Vernon was giving his speech about loss, I'm like, we should be seeing Derek instead of Ashley because we don't like Ashley. We don't care that she's alone. It's her fault. She was the problem in that relationship the most. And poor Derek had to spend Thanksgiving alone with his walker, although he should have went for the hot coworker of his that came on to him. And then Vanessa has barely grieved Doug, so it doesn't feel like a loss to me. So Vanessa and Joey had dinner alone at the club. I don't care. I don't care. The writing for Vanessa sucks. That it is what it is. She's not grieving Doug. She's just moving on with Joey. If this is the show's way to one day swerve us that she's known all along, that Joey killed Doug and she's getting revenge, it only works if Doug is still alive. If it's any other way, they're wasting our time, and they're wasting our time in a way where Vanessa sucks as a character. She's spending Thanksgiving alone with the guy that killed Doug, or at least that's what we've been told, so she looks horrible. So her being in the montage for Lost was a joke. It was a joke. And also, Joey prepared all this dinner for him. I had to laugh when he tasted his own salad he prepared, and I felt like he hated it. But Ted, Eva, and Leslie had dinner at Orphe Jean's. They had Thanksgiving there. The actor that plays Ted was loving that food for real, for real. He was enjoying eating the Orphe Jean's food today, if you go back and watch those scenes. But yeah, Leslie was late for Thanksgiving today with Ted and Eva. Before she got there, they were talking about how they were making up for lost time, their first Thanksgiving together. Leslie was happy to hear that. Also, when she arrived, the only thing that really came out of this is Leslie learned for the first time that Eva's potential new man, Izaiah, is related to Jacob and Naomi, which we know Leslie doesn't like Jacob because he was investigating her. So yeah, Leslie upset that Eva didn't tell her any of this information. Eva was keeping that from her mama. But by the end, Leslie seemed okay with that and thinking maybe having a close connection to a police family would be good for her, and it probably would. Plus, she just connected with Marcel yesterday, so Leslie making new connections in the town. We'll see how that all plays out. But that's it for today's episode. That's it for this week of Beyond the Gates. We get some time off. But yeah, I hope all of y'all have a happy Thanksgiving on Thursday if you celebrate. And for you Beyond the Gates fans, I will see you all on Monday. But I also do the Soap Opera Sundays talking about the other soaps this week. They also have a short week except for Days of Our Lives, which is on Peacock. And like I said, you can find me on Patreon too for some classic soap opera episodes and reviews.